We are kicking off with WWE and that segment between Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton, as more has come to light about what happened during last week's SmackDown. It was previously reported that the pair went off script during their segment, and now Fightful Select has confirmed that Flair was the one who went off script first. Her Nepo Queen line wasn't cleared, but it didn't stir up much anger backstage either, but when she started mocking Stratton's voice, those backstage felt Tiffany needed to fight back. With that said, sources within WWE said her response may have crossed the line, as her comment about Charlotte being 0-3 in marriages was not approved. Charlotte's response about Ludwig Kaiser being in her DMs was also not approved, and Charlotte's bit where she turned to the fans to address their reaction was also not scripted. That part of the promo was seen as run-of-the-mill ad-libbing that wouldn't get anyone heat backstage, but when the insults got personal, producers were told to clean things up. WWE's digital team received direct orders to remove all references to relationships, as well as Flair mocking Stratton's voice, from their uploads to YouTube. For fans still wanting to see them, the USA Network still has the uncut exchange of the segment, which was summed up as a wreck, according to one insider source. There was heat on both women, Flair for instigating the personal jabs and Stratton for going too hard in her fiery response to the two-time Royal Rumble winner. One person said there was some confusion when Charlotte emulated Tiffany's voice and an overwhelming "oh sh" as the segment went off the rails. Though there was heat on both women, there was no backstage drama between them when they got backstage, just a shared sense that the segment had gone too far. Fightful's report added that despite these tensions, many got a laugh out of Ludwig Kaiser for being a good sport about the DM drama, as he teased bringing it up during this week's Raw. Kaiser said he was going to discuss the elephant in the room, teasing that he was going to address the drama, but instead talking about not having a match yet for WrestleMania. Kaiser's poking fun of the situation is played out on social media, as when Tiffany shared an Instagram post, Kaiser responded telling his girlfriend to check your DMs in the comments. This segment was supposed to build to WrestleMania, but has become a behind-the-scenes mess. And what did you make of all this? Let us know down in the comments. During the segment, one of Tiffany's less shocking lines saw her claim that Charlotte will always be second best behind her two-time Hall of Fame father, Ric Flair. For years, fans have compared Charlotte to Rick, and WWE has hardly shied away from this comparison, as Charlotte's number of titles is growing close to that of her dad. Speaking on the Busted Open Radio podcast, though, Rick said he hates when WWE uses his name in connection to Charlotte, and added that she is 10 times the athlete that I am. When asked about the segment from SmackDown, Rick said that he didn't like it due to the sensitive topics brought up, but wasn't overly surprised given that wrestling is wrestling. Flair believes that Stratton will not have given Charlotte any warning before her comment about her divorces, and Rick said that family matters were never brought up for heat in his heyday. Wrestling is a strange animal, Flair concluded, and while there's a ton of eyes on his talented daughter, Rick wishes it did not come about because of her personal life being shared on TV. Next week, Lex Luger will take his place in the WWE Hall of Fame, and the former WCW World Champion has hardly been quiet about who he wants to induct him. Luger has said that he hopes Sting will be allowed to induct him, despite his friend being under contract with AEW, but that hope is growing increasingly uncertain. Speaking with Bill Apter, Luger suggested having Sting and DDP, someone who has helped Lex immensely over the years, and said the pair can make sure he doesn't fall when walking. Luger added that when he spoke to a WWE official described as Triple H's right-hand man, that person immediately knew Lex was going to ask about Sting being his potential inductor. This official said he'd have to take the suggestion to the higher-ups, but hasn't heard back yet, but remains hopeful that Tony Khan will let WWE use Sting for the ceremony. He said, "I just think it would be a classy thing to allow him up there. There are a lot of moving parts there, but ideally I'd love to have both guys up there with me. That would be huge for me." When asked during a pre-Dynasty media call, Tony Khan said the topic hasn't come up with Sting yet and spoke highly of his friendship with the icon. Do you think AEW should allow Sting to appear for Luger's Hall of Fame? Should Tony Khan ask for something in return? Let us know what you think down in the comments section. Over to WWE NXT now, as the show saw the in-ring debut of Dark State as the group battled NXT champion Obafemi, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans. The three men who will battle at Stand and Deliver each got individual promo segments, and fans also got their first chance to hear the theme song for the Dark State. The new faction wasted no time in battling Femi, Trick, and Evans, and in the end, the three Stand and Deliver adversaries couldn't coexist as Femi and Williams would begin brawling. This left Evans alone in the ring, and with the numbers against him, Dark State got the win with an impressive debut, but they were challenged by Stax after their match. Stax dared the group to fight in the parking lot next week, and if history is any indicator, someone is certainly going to be attacked in the NXT parking lot. This was a good match, though introducing the four men of Dark State all at once presents the difficult take of fans getting to know any of them as individuals. Right now, the group's four members have little to no defining qualities, and hopefully that'll change in the weeks to come for Dark State. NXT also saw the return of Giulia, who last appeared on TV at NXT Roadblock, but made her return to the ring at a recent live event over the weekend. Before Giulia's return, though, Stephanie Vaquer came out to watch Jordynne Grace vs. Jada Parker, a match to decide who Vaquer would face for the NXT Women's title at Stand and Deliver. Vaquer was on commentary but wasn't given a ton of opportunities to talk as Booker T dominated the discussions about who Stephanie will pick as her next challenger. Vaquer was given the right to choose her opponent thanks to surrendering the NXT North American Women's title last week, and this was a great match, albeit with some issues. There was a very scary spot when Grace went for a dive to the outside, but her foot caught on the second rope, and this left the Juggernaut crashing to the floor outside of the ring. This was a major botch, and it's thankful that Grace didn't suffer a serious injury as a result, and things broke down near the end as Vaquer attacked Grace after being provoked by Parker. Vaquer would get involved in the brawl inside the ring before Giulia came out and immediately attacked the champion, seemingly turning heel in the process. To confirm the pair aren't friends, Giulia planted her foot in the face of Vaquer before posing with the NXT Women's Championship, all while Parker and Grace watched on in surprise. Explaining herself outside the Performance Center, Giulia said that there's no friends when it comes to Stand and Deliver and that she wants a rematch for the NXT Women's title. With that in mind, a fatal four-way was made for Stand and Deliver, pitting Vaquer against Grace, Parker, and Giulia with the women's title on the line. Ricky Saints was on NXT for his first appearance since capturing the NXT North American Championship, but there were some serious issues with this segment. For one, Saints appeared with the side plates of the former champion Shawn Spears, despite it being a week since Saints won the gold from his fellow AEW alum. While WWE may not have made side plates for Saints yet, the promotion could have gone for default side plates instead of sticking with the plates of a completely different wrestler. There was also a noticeable mistake on commentary, as during Saints' entrance, Vic Joseph said that Saints had broken the record for the fastest time from debuting in NXT to winning a title. Saints took 49 days from debuting on the February 11th show to winning a title, an impressively quick time, but this is not the fastest despite what WWE is putting out there. That goes to Ethan Page, who debuted on the May 28th episode of NXT in 2024 and won the title at Heatwave on July 7th, just 40 days after arriving in the silver brand. It's unclear why WWE would tout Saints breaking a record that he has not broken, but on this week's show, he was interrupted by a different AEW alum, NXT Heritage Cup champ Lexis King. King made his case for the title and also tried to quiet a couple of disruptive fans, but the Heritage Cup holder isn't the only one with eyes on Saints' title. Eddie Thorpe would also come out and refer to Lexis King as a greedy white man in a moment that has divided opinions between fans on social media. Wes Lee would also come out before Saints was ambushed for the second week in a row by Ethan Page, and Page, Lee, Thorpe, and King would have a tug of war for the gold. It was announced that the four will battle next week, and the winner of that match will face Saints for the NXT North American title at Stand and Deliver. Swipe Right, a team from NXT Evolve, made their NXT in-ring debut on this week's show as they battled the NXT Tag Team Champions Fraxiom. While this match may have been little more than a glorified plug for Evolve, it certainly gave fans a reason to tune in, as Swipe Right certainly delivered against Nathan Frazier and Axiom. In the end, Fraxiom got the win, but having a match like this as their NXT debut was certainly the right first impression for Swipe Right and a great promotional moment for WWE Evolve. Now, in recent weeks, there's been a lot of talk between Booker T and Swerve Strickland, and the former AEW World Champion had a pointed message after AEW Dynasty went off the air. Following the show, Strickland spoke about black representation in wrestling before adding, "Booker T, clearly unhappy with Booker's recent comments about him and race." At this week's NXT, the crowd in the Performance Center shared their support for Booker as a fan-recorded footage shows fans chanting "F you Swerve" during a commercial break. The fans' footage also caught Booker T, who found this chant hilarious as it appears the issues between the two aren't going away anytime soon. At WrestleMania 41, Roman Reigns will headline the show's first night in the latest main event match for the former undisputed WWE Universal Champion. On this week's Raw, WWE highlighted Reigns' upcoming main event but made a serious botch as they said that WrestleMania 41 will be his 11th time headlining the show of shows. In fact, this year's show will be Reigns' 10th match to headline a WrestleMania, still an impressive feat, but it's odd that WWE would get the history of one of its biggest stars wrong. On social media, some suggested that WWE may have even accidentally spoiled that Reigns will be added to the John Cena vs. Cody Rhodes match, two men Reigns has plenty of history with. Headlining both Night 1 and Night 2 would give Reigns his 10th and 11th WrestleMania main events, and Reigns did headline on both nights last year. But what do you think? Was this graphic just a production botch, or is WWE hinting at a major change to the plans for WrestleMania? Let us know your take in the comments section below. It's been less than 3 months since Penta made his in-ring debut for WWE, but since then, the masked superstar has proven to be a hit on Monday Night Raw. Penta's debut came after years as part of AEW, though he spent much of his final year on the sidelines, and now Penta has opened up about making the change. Speaking to WWE Deutschland and Sebastian Hackl, Penta said that WWE is very different to where he's been before, but said that he's certain WWE is the best company in the world. Penta added that WWE makes you feel like a big superstar and called the company very professional before saying that joining WWE was a life-changing improvement to his career. Penta certainly doesn't have any regrets about going from AEW to WWE, and now his brother Rey Fenix is hoping to see similar success after making his WWE debut last week. But what do you think? What have you made of Penta's WWE career so far, and do you think his comments about WWE being the best are accurate? Share your thoughts in the comments. During this week's Raw, Adam Pearce made a serious botch when he was introducing Rhea Ripley, as he said that Mommy was still a representative of the Judgment Day. Ripley's time with the faction officially came to an end at SummerSlam 2024, and this was a mistake that certainly didn't go unnoticed on social media. On Instagram, Pearce addressed the slip-up, chalking it up to the perils of live TV, and tried to see the funny side of saying a line that's not even in the damn script. Pearce quipped that it could have been even worse and suggested that he could have mixed up Ripley's name with Drew McIntyre, who he referred to as Mackinfart. Pierce joked that Ripley Fart actually works, but for all his humor, this is a mistake that the Raw general manager will try and avoid from now on. Back to NXT as Sol Ruca battled Jazmyn Nix for a spot in the 6-woman ladder match at NXT Stand and Deliver for the vacant NXT North American Championship. Nix certainly impressed in this match, which will hopefully mean more opportunities for her, as she often feels like Fatal Influence's third wheel, overshadowed by Jacy Jayne and Fallon Henley. In the end, though, it was Ruca who got the win to earn a spot in the ladder match, a match that will also feature her friend and tag team partner Zarya. Speaking of Zarya, she seemingly has worse vision than most referees, as she missed Henley trying to interfere, but other than this awkward moment, this was a solid match. Shawn Spears hoped to rebound from his title loss last week by encouraging the Culling to succeed in their matches, and the group got off to a strong start. Brooks Jensen and Vico Nance defeated Hank and Tank in yet another loss for the popular pair, who are at least getting regular exposure on TV. Perhaps things will change for Hank and Tank next week, as the Street Profits were on NXT to share that a tag team gauntlet match will take place next week. The WWE Tag Team Champions share that the winner will face NXT Tag Team Champions Fraxiom for the titles at Stand and Deliver later next week. Izzy Dame also represented the Culling by defeating Wren Sinclair to earn herself a place in the Women's North American title ladder match at Stand and Deliver. This match did have a botched finish, though, as while the referee was counting the pinfall, Dame ended her pin attempt and started celebrating, but the referee continued to count to 3. This led to a very awkward ending, as in theory the ref should have stopped the count, but since this was the planned finish, Dame was given the win and the spot in the ladder match. The crowd were firmly behind Sinclair in this match, which only made the finish feel even more deflated in an odd way to put Dame in the title match at the upcoming PLE. Wes Lee battled Yoshiki Inamura, who continues to impress with his hard-hitting style whenever he gets inside an NXT ring. With that being said, it was Lee who got the win, earning momentum ahead of his match next week, which could bring him one step closer to another reign as North American Champion. And that was this week's episode of NXT, and what did you think of the show? Are you excited by the return of Giulia and the progress made to Stand and Deliver? Let us know below. Over the years, several names from WWE's past have signed Legends deals, giving them opportunities to earn with WWE while also allowing for more on-screen appearances. Now fans can add Kelly Kelly's name to the list, as Fightful Select reports that she's now signed a Legends deal with the company. Kelly, a former Divas champion and 24/7 champion, last competed for WWE as part of the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble, and she's competed in that match on 3 separate occasions. News of Kelly's signing comes at an interesting time, as she recently told Fast Break that her dream is for her children to see her wrestle one day. Now under a Legends deal, that dream seems more possible than ever, especially given reports that WWE will host its second Evolution Premium Live event this July. If the previous event is any indication, fans can expect plenty of returns, meaning we could be mere months away before seeing Kelly Kelly back in the ring under her new Legends deal. From one former female superstar to another now, as earlier this year, Nikki Bella was part of Raw's debut on Netflix and also appeared in the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble match. This left many fans expecting to see more of Nikki, and while she's yet to resurface on WWE TV, that could be about to change in the near future. Fightful Select reports that Nikki is on good terms with WWE and is expected to make an in-ring return under what could be a part-time basis for the former WWE Divas champion. The report adds that WWE wants to do more with Nikki, and with that in mind, expect to see plenty more of the WWE Hall of Famer in due time. And we're ending today with Carlito, who was on the receiving end of a hellacious spear on Raw by Bron Breakker, a spear that has left Carlito fearing that the end is near. Taking to Twitter, Carlito joked that the move was so painful that his funeral services will come this Friday and asked for fans to respect the privacy of his family at this difficult time. Carlito wasn't the only one who ate a spear on Raw, as Breakker also delivered the move to Penta and Dominic Mysterio before being ambushed by Finn Balor. Breakker's Intercontinental title will be on the line at WrestleMania against Finn, Dom, and Penta, and while the odds won't be on his side, all it'll take is one spear to still leave as champion.